I'm giving Facebook the opportunity to get a good screen grab in case they pick a weird one, which they have done, actually. They have done that. Ooh, I got a fan going on here. You know what? Let me pull it a little bit closer to me because we know what happens. There we go. Whoops. Hey, everybody. I swear I'm here. It's just that I wanted to do this from outside. Oh, hey, this is something seriously, the last time I did a Facebook Live, I did it inside and there was some wacky thing going on where I could not see any comments. So can people just like write hi in the comments or something and I will see if it's coming up in the screen in front of me. I'm not sure. I'm afraid. Okay, no, that's me. Okay, so yeah, crap. Okay, Retro Road Husband, if you're watching this, maybe you can put a comment in the comment section or come out here and tell me how to watch the comments. Other than that, it'll just be me babbling to myself as I oft do. And I think I've got my phone facing the wrong way. No, I'm good. So hello, everybody. This is Maud Betty doing, you'd think I've had my act together right now, huh? You'd think. Oh, I think my tech guy is coming here. No, I don't see them. Hey, everybody, little back screen thing. See, that's where I get, if I do that, then it just says write a comment.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
And there's so many people.
It's a new situation.
I know, Mystery Mask Live broadcast. Okay, no, don't want to do that.
Wow, because we are talking to you.
Guest requests, your viewers. Hello, Bubba. I don't know, I don't want
to. Weird. Where's the comments?
I don't know.
Maybe click and restart?
I don't know. I guess I'll try. Oh, but then I'll lose all these people.
I'll hook you up.
Okay, you know what? So Maud Betty's going to keep on rolling, 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 rolling on the river. Do, 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 do. Yeah, from here up, I look like a boy with my new short haircut, but from down below, I'm doing my best Tina Turner or Patty Smythe doing Tina Turner. So anyhow, apologies if you're putting comments in the comment section. I cannot see them. Whew, as I said, this is episode 32. I've been doing this for 30... Oh, no, I haven't been doing it for 32 weeks, but this is my 32nd episode because I did go to one episode a week, and maybe that's why I'm out of practice. Today, I'm going to talk about Minnesota. Minnesota. And, well, here's a goofy thing, but I'm just going to say it. Especially, it feels goofy because I am having a technical difficulty. And... but I'm just going to say, despite the technical difficulties, I've been showing up here for the past 32 episodes ever since March 17th. And I decided, a number of people had asked me, you know, what can we do to support you? I know you're putting a lot of work into this and everything. And I'm just like, I'm doing it for the love. But some money wouldn't hurt. I'll be honest with you. Not a lot. Well, yeah, a lot. If you have a lot of money, send it my way. But if you don't, that's cool too. You don't have to send me anything, but if you are interested in kind of giving me, you know, a financial thumbs up in what I'm doing, I just set up a page on this thing called buymeacoffee.com. Now you hear my Boston accent come out when I say .com. And what it is a place where you can just go give me a cup of coffee or money. And, oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Reggie. Hey, everybody. Okay, I see your comments now on my computer. Yay. Minnie Biggles, nice to see you. All right, now I'm seeing my big Irish face, as we like to call them, on my computer as well. But it's all good. But just really quick, buymeacoffee.com/MaudBetty. If you like what I am doing right now, if you like what I've done previously, if you want to encourage me to do things in the future, it's a place where you can just go and it's like, hey, I really like it. Here's a cup of coffee, couple of bucks. I don't drink coffee, so I made mine tea, hot or iced, because I like hot or iced, or maybe this was iced and this is hot. But anyhow, that's that. Today, what I'm going to be talking about is the state of, anybody know it without me telling you? Yeah, Minnesota. I already told you actually. So Minnesota, this is what it looks like. And this is me being all old school, and I just print stuff out because this is my map of the US. Now see, we started here in Maine. All these ones, I've done all these states. So if you're interested in what I have done previously, they're all here on the Retro Road Map video page on the Facebook. And I'm also posting them to the Instagrams. Excuse me, to the YouTube. So right here, where are we? Listen to me, are we? Where are we? We're right here. We're almost in Canada. So I am so excited to share with you some of the places that I found in Minnesota. Cool vintage places, new places with old hearts, places that literally, if any of you follow me on Just Drive Your Life, you hear me talk about those kind of what I call like the traffic signals in your bod. And some of these places, when I was putting them on my map, I changed the little pin to like an exclamation point because I was like, oh my God, this place is so cool. I need to share it with people. Other places, sadly, there were a couple of them. See, I had to actually change them to little unhappy faces because they were closed. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that before everything's said and done. So I do this to just inspire you, even if you can't, like, I don't know, honestly, the next time I'm going to Minnesota. But what I will say is that I am so excited and I know directly where to go now that I've got it. Oh, hey, I've got somebody waving and I see somebody watching. So that's a good sign. Hey, Greg Maragos. Nice to see you. So there's something going on up here. Yes, and I remember Maud Biggles. Maud Biggles spent her time in Minnesota. Ooh, don't you know? So anyhow, what I've decided I'm going to do is I'm going to start way up here in kind of the hinterlands. And then we're going to kind of go down and across. And we were going to go kind of across, but this place, so it's a little bit of a zigzag. And then check this out, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Wicked lot of places. So many places, I'll be honest with you, that I am not going to be able to mention them all. So if you know of a place, pop it in the comments. I can't see it, but I'm trying. But the neat thing is about you putting your favorite places in the comments is that other people who are watching can do it. And also that later on, people who aren't watching right now can also see it. So anyhow, without further ado, we're going to start way up here, kind of on this lake. And the Wonder Bar Eatery, and check this out, Glamp Ground, glamping, not camping. This is glamping. This is glamping right here. Glamorous camping. It's on the North Shore in Grand Marais. I don't believe I mispronounced that. It is a neat little campground, and here's why I'm recommending it. Because it has 5 vintage campers that are cute little ones like our Sarah Scotty right here. I don't know exactly which styles or years they have, but they've got 5 of them. And they've got these 2 neat things called, what do you call them? Lotus Bell tents. Now to me, that's a bit of that, what's that thing, like yurts? People do things with yurts and stuff. But anyhow, the neat thing is you can go up to this place, like kind of if you're in that, like I love nature, but I still love kitschy camping stuff. You can go to the Wonder Bar Eatery and Glamp Ground. And I love this. They have a restaurant on site and they say when you come, you will receive a swag bag. They will give you local coupons to encourage you to visit the local places. They will give you passes to the YMCA. So you can go and work out or just, do whatever they have at the YMCA there, and also complimentary drink tickets. So I'm smitten by this entire place. It's the Wonderground Eatery and Glamp Ground in Grand Marais. And then if you're a little bit more of what I call like the hikey, you really like the outdoorsy stuff, there is this cute little place right here in, not the middle of nowhere, but in the middle of a lot of nature. You can tell by the green that it's nature. And it is the Superior National Forest, and there's a place called, I forgot to put the name on it, but it's in Finland. All right, I'll put it in the comments. Moving right along. Rocky Taconite. Isn't that like a cool name? Boxer? Something like that? No. So adorable. It's one of these giant statues that actually I was surprised at how many giant statues there were. Or are in Minnesota. I'm going to screw it up, and I'm going to say Minneapolis because it starts the same, just ends different. But here's one that charmed me. His name is Rocky Taconite, He's in Silver Bay, Minnesota, and he was born in 1964. He's made of steel storage tanks and wears a miner's hat and stands on a taconite boulder. Now you may wonder, what is taconite? Because I wondered, what is taconite? And what that is a variety of iron formation where the iron-bearing sedimentary rocks are interlayered with quartz, chert, or carbonate. Now don't worry, there won't be a quiz, but in case you were wondering. But this is one of those kind of, not necessarily a muffler man, but kind of, one of those things where you're like in the middle of nowhere and there's something and you want to stop and you want to get your picture taken next to Rocky Taconite. So that's in Silver Bay. Now, as I mentioned, and I'll mention one further along when we're a little bit more regionally close, there are a number of statues in Minnesota, one of which there are a number of them that are Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox. So I get a vision of myself being in my third grade class and learning, Mrs. Glore, learning about Paul Bunyan. Sometimes, and I don't know if I have any international fans, but sometimes I do. So people who are not from the U.S. or U.S. people who may not be familiar with it, Paul Bunyan is a giant lumberjack. Cue the Monty Python. And folk hero in America. His exploits revolve around tall tales and of his superhuman powers. That's me, actually. Superhuman powers. And he's got a buddy, a pal, sidekick, Babe the Blue Ox. There was also a thing where somebody said he had a girlfriend. So that was thing. Oh, thank you, Shannon Johnson. That's sweet. And see, I can see my comments here. So if you can, I'll be looking down here to see your comments. And if you ever saw the goofy picture that is my face right there, it's like the universe is like, I'm going to throw something at you and just keep rolling. So anyhow, Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox statues. They're all over the place, but there's one over here in Bemidji. Now, I'm kind of showing off because I haven't mispronounced a town yet, and I even said something called Bemidji. UPS guy is coming. I hope he doesn't ask me where an address is located like that last episode. Remember that? When the UPS guy was like talking to me when I was on camera. Ho, ho, ho. Moving right along, kind of across this way, and then we're going to zig back. Again, don't follow me. I'm lost too, but don't take my tour. I'm just trying to do it. So up here, right near Grand Forks, it's actually in Warren. Warren is one of the 6 drive-in movie theaters in the state. So there are only 6. They started with about 80 of them back in the 50s. They've only got 6 left, but I bet now during COVID they are hopping. The one in Warren is called the Skyview. Skyview. Cute little way to call it. And so if you're in the middle of that area and you want to do that, you do that. JC, nice to see you. Route 66, Jeff Cooper. Hola, everybody. So here's a funny thing. We're zipping back here to the coast here because I just had to share. So this little asterisk right here, see how I said I turned some of these regular points into like exclamations because I was just like, oh, that's so fun. So this is, you may think it's wacky that I'm going to tell you to go to a Radisson Hotel in Duluth, Minnesota. Now, trust me, I would normally not send you to a Radisson Hotel in Duluth, Minnesota, except for the fact that it's got a restaurant on the top floor and the restaurant rotates. So you're eating your dinner, right? And you don't have to be like, oh, look, what's out there? Because, you wait and it will turn so you can see what's out there. I love that. I went to a place once in Las Vegas that had a revolving restaurant. This is the J.J. Astor restaurant at the Duluth Harbor View. So you get a wonderful view of the harbor. And it was named after John Jacob Astor, not Jingleheimer Schmidt. I crack myself up. I don't know if I crack anybody else up, but I crack myself up. So if you want to go to Duluth, and you want to have the world revolve around you, as some people do, go to J.J. Astor's, okay? Oh, here was a fun thing. Right over here. Now I'm kind of mixing my maps, okay? Because as some of you know, I do Retro Roadmap, I do Just Drive Your Life, but I also do, because not like I have anything else to do, I have a map that I've created called Mid-Mod Map. What this is mid-century modern places that not just like, oh, look at that square office building, I'm going to take a picture. Like, to me, eye roll. But what it is stuff that's mid-century modern or design-oriented and interesting that you can go do stuff with. And I kind of lead you into that because I'm going to send you to a gas station, okay? Now, there are a lot of anonymous mid-century gas stations with like parabolas and all sorts of kind of modern-looking stuff. But this one right here, yeah, it was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright, FLW, as we call him in the biz. FLW, right up here in Cloquet. I don't think I mispronounced it. Cloquet, Minnesota. There's literally a gas station designed by Frank Lloyd Wright, and you can get your gas there. So, I mean, talk about supporting what you love. You're going to need to get gas in your car anyway when you're driving your life. So why not get your gas at a really cool looking gas station designed by Frank Lloyd Wright? So I was going to say to you that, hey, you gotta sign up. You got to get your gas right here because we're going to chug it all the way over here. We were going to go to a bakery over here, and then I double checked. And I'm kind of bummed. It was closed. So it was the City Bakery in Fergus Falls. It looked so adorable, people. I was so excited. I literally had to change my little asterisk to an unhappy face. It's probably still there, but it's closed. Wonderful seafoam green vitrolite. Picture it. Sicily. Picture it. Seafoam green vitrolite. Shiny glass tiles, right? Neon sign up the front. Really neat font on it, old-timey, that said City Cafe and Bakery. It's not open anymore, but maybe somebody will reopen it. So, moving right along, Gugajung, Gugajung. That was my nod to the Muppet movie. If anybody, you know, I'm a little bit country. I'm a little bit rock and roll. I'm a little bit Fozzie Bear too. So there we have that. But here, let's pretend we went there. Let's pretend that wonderful place was open, and then we were chugging along back here, because there's a number of places. As you can see, I've got this cluster of pins that I want to make sure that I have time to tell you about. Right here, this little thing, that's Big Ole. Now, again, he's a big Viking, and here's an interesting thing. So, as I said, so already we've got like this taconite guy, we've got Babe the Blue Ox and Paul Bunyan, and now we've got this Viking. And the Viking is there. It's kind of interesting. It's the America's biggest Viking. I don't know where the smallest Viking is. And his shield, he's got a shield. He's like holding like a spear and a shield. And his shield says, birthplace of America, Alexandria, Minnesota. And it says, somebody wrote that local legend has it that the Norsemen visited central Minnesota in 1362. Okay? Somebody claims to have discovered a rune stone. I don't know if you know about this. Little tidbit for those of you who know Retro Road Husband. He knows how to write in runes. Ask him about it. I'm sure he will be glad to like roll his 12-sided die and tell you all about it. I was afraid he was going to come out and catch me talking about him. Anyhow, somebody got this thing. They thought that the Vikings were there. It ended up being a fake. But irregardless, Big Ole has been there since 1965. And again, he's kind of one of those landmarks that you go and you're like, hey, there's a wacky thing and I've been on the road. Let's pull over and take a picture. So you can do that. That's the Big Ole in Alexandria. And then moving right along, here I am doing my Kermit and Fozzie thing again. This was a funny thing, and I put my little arrow to make sure that I told you that we're kind of going rogue. We're going south here, and I promised to annoy the life out of everybody when I'm going to post a link to a song that has been going to my head ever since I discovered that the name of this town that I'm sending you to see two things is Starbuck. Now, not Starbucks, like the coffee, Starbuck. And if any of you grew up in the 70s and listened to AM radio, there was a band called Starbuck. Now, I won't give it away. If you are my friend, my actual friend on Facebook, you will see that I already posted it, so you're going to have that earworm. I will post it in the comments when I'm offline, and then we'll all get the earworm from Starbuck. Oh, that was a little bit of a, little bit of a sneaky peeky. But anyhow, the reason I'm sending you there is not because the band was from there. I don't even know where they were from, but I'm going to send you to two places. I'm going to send you to a Dairy Queen. A Dairy Queen, you know, it's a chain, but this one is historic. It's got a historic, cool old sign. Actually, it looks like the Dairy Palace sign in Newcastle, Delaware. This is Dairy Queen. And then, remember, I can't remember what state it was we were talking about. I want to say, oh, Missouri maybe. There was a place that was like the Hobo Museum. Remember that, hobos? You know, again, I got to find out what that stands for. But it was like, hop on board maybe. I'm totally making that up, people. Sorry. But anyhow, there is a place in Starbuck, Minnesota called the Hobo Campground. Now, I find it interesting that people would want to stay in a place where hobos, you know, probably gathered around the fire and ate like beans out of cans and sang Jimmy Crack Corn, I don't care. But there is a giant hobo statue there, and you can also camp, and they have a little marina where you can put a little hobo-boat, get it? It's like hobos on boats, be hoboats. I'm just, I'm cracking myself up, people. You know, at least one person's being entertained here, right? That'd be me, people. Anyhow, Stuart, I did not know they were from Baltimore. Ooh, interesting. I'm gonna have to have my Baltimore contingent do a little bit of investigation. Exactly, Jeff Cooper. You know what I'm talking about. So anyhow, if you want to go on your hoboat, go to Starbucks, go get yourself an ice cream, get yourself posing next to a hobo, get your bindle stick, and then head back on the road because we have so many more places to get to you in Minnesota. Okay, so we're hopping back here. Now over here, I get a couple of burgers. There's a number of burgery places around, and the neat thing is about Minnesota, I found out a couple of indigenous foods, one of which was wild rice. I did not know that was a thing, but the one that I'm going to tell you about is one that I feel like you could probably stop at a number of these roadside eateries that I recommend and get what is called a Lucy juice. No, crap. I wrote it down. Where'd it go, people? A Juicy Lucy. And basically what that is it's a cheeseburger, but instead of having the cheese on top of the burger, they put the cheese in the burger, so when you bite it, the cheese is all there. So a number of burger places in Minnesota. In Minnesota, you can do that. One I will mention, there was actually a neat place that had the loose meat. Remember I talked about loose meat sandwiches on another exciting episode of Retro Roadmap Facebook Live? There was that. But before we do that, before we have the fun, so we just had, this is like being on a thing with kids, right? We got the ice cream, we post by the hobo. Bear with me, this is going to be interesting because we're going to St. John's University for like a hot minute, mainly because in Collegeville, Minnesota, because Marcel Breuer, B-R-E-U-E-R, mid-century modern guy, right? Google him. All you need to do, if you think, I don't know even who that guy is, Google Breuer chair, and you will say, oh my God, he's the guy who designed those two chairs, those two infamous looking chairs. Dining chair, like you know, as soon as you've seen him, all of us have at least sat in one type of his chair. That would be probably the Cheska, not the Vasily chair. Anyhow, I'm getting to mid-century modern. I'm even boring myself, frankly, but just really quick, stop at St. John's in Collegeville because there are a number of really crazy, awesome, interesting-looking mid-century modern buildings that Marcel Breuer designed on that campus, including, and I'm not making this up, people, he designed an abbey that kind of looks like a drive-in movie theater. You can see it online. I thought it was really cool. And then right near there is a place called Val's Rapid Serve Hamburgers in St. Cloud. So see, we had a little bit of the, we're looking at architecture and we get to walk around buildings and then we get to have a burger. Okay, so trust me, I'm not like a teacher that's gonna force you to do all the boring things. I'm like the fun aunt who will have you put up with some things that I feel like you should know about, and then we'll go get ice cream. So I think my nieces and nephew would heartily endorse my aunting qualities. Alrighty, Matt's in Minneapolis is really good for Lucy Juicy. Ooh, good to know. Good to know. Thank you, Stuart, for putting that in there. All right, so we're getting close to Minneapolis. Bunch of places there, but on the way here, I have this little pocketbook or as I like to call it when I'm putting in my little icons, it's like a little shopping bag, and that reminds me to tell people some places to go to shop to pick up some stuff. Now, this isn't a classic, historic, amazing place, but on the road sometimes when you're driving and you need to pick up like tissues or like, I don't know, hand sanitizer or Kleenex, I said Kleenex twice, or headache medicine, anything like that. There's a cute little place in Elk River called Kemper Drug. It's not a chain, and as we all know, all drugstores are turning into chains now. So anytime I can find one that I can send you to, if you want to just get off the highway, it's at Elk River. Now we're in Minneapolis, okay? I'm looking at my clock. I'm like, do we even have enough time? Because there's so much cool stuff there. I will do my best, and I know I'm going to miss some, so feel free to put some in the comments. One thing many of us know about Minneapolis, music. Music, people. Oh my gosh, that place is such a hotbed of so many different types of music. It's kind of amazing. Prince, as you know, was legendary in the Minneapolis music scene, so much so that you can actually go, I have it written down, it's not Chanhassen. You can go visit Paisley Park in Chanhassen. I have that as a landmark to go to. But Prince, The Replacements, Husker Du, Soul Asylum, I think, Semisonic, the Andrews Sisters, and actually, I guess he's from, I want to say he's from some other place in there. Bob Dylan is from Minnesota. So, can you tell? I'm like, Bob Dylan. Let's talk about some other music, shall we? But anyhow, there's a classic nightclub that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and Deborah Jane Seltzer, correct me if I'm wrong, First Avenue nightclub. It was in Purple Rain, where Morse Day in the Night, and they're all doing they were doing some scenes in there. I think that used to be an old Greyhound bus station. Anyhow, so if you're a music fan, you got to go there. If you are a music fan and a crazy tiki bar fan, like I tend to be, and a lover of kitsch, holy hellballs, do I have the places for you? Because there are two places that we visited when we were in Minneapolis, now almost 2 years ago, that I just fell in love with because of their joie de vivre and their decor. One of them is called Psycho Susie's. Psycho Susie's Motor Lodge and Tiki Bar. Say no more. Great place for tiki drinks and appetizers and all sorts of, Polynesian kitchen things like that. Wonderful place to go to. And then they have kind of a fancier sister restaurant. But I say fancier in like that, like preppy green and pink, like it's a takeoff on that. And it's called, I want to get it right, Betty Danger's Country Club. We had a meal there, and the place is so great. It's got like pink flamingos. You can actually eat while sitting in a Ferris wheel cart, and the Ferris wheel moves. We were there in the winter, so it wasn't moving, but you can do that. You can get tater tots, and it's kind of a riff like on the stuffy country club set, which I kind of love. What is that when they turn something into something else? Now I sound like I'm writing a paper about it, but it's wicked fun place to go. Betty Danger's and Psycho Susie's. Don't you just want to hang out with those gals? Minnie Biggles, I can see. Oh no, I just saw Felicity. Oh, I guess I'm going to have to change Betty Danger's into an unhappy face too. Well, this is a reminder, people, okay? Thank you, Felicity Pearson, for letting me know that Betty Danger's went under. Crap. We're going to see more of this type of thing before all is said and done with the COVID and even just the nature of business. So we need to, here's the deal. Here's my take. We should mourn the loss of the places that we love, that we wanted to go to and didn't get a chance to, the places that we went to and loved and wanted to go back to, all of those places. However, this happened to me earlier this week with Hildebrandt. I was like, I can't take it. All the places are closing. But here's the deal. We can't give up. We cannot give up. We still have to give the love to the places that are still around. Because if we just give up and put the covers over our head and say, crap, I'm giving up, like this is what I do, then what's going to happen? Then every place is going to close. And then when we take the covers off of our head, it's going to be like we're surrounded by nothing but like CVS's and Kohl's and Paneras from sea to shining sea. And why would you want to even leave your house if that's all you're going to see? Like, to me, this is why I do Retro Roadmap, because I want to see the things I can't see at home. I want to be all emphatic, and then I'm showing the state upside down. I'm so impassioned about Retro Roadmap that I've turned my states upside down. So please use this as a inspiration, motivation, fire under your butt. John Lydon once said anger is an energy, so if you're pissed off at this, go out there and spend your money locally. Do not spend your money at chains. Spend your money where your heart is. It's an investment in the kind of world you want to live in. It's an investment in the kind of life you want to live. You got to do your part. So thank you, Matt. Yeah, you know what? I admit, okay, you know what? I'll keep it posted. But here's the deal. And also right now, too, there's a lot of places that are almost going into hibernation, right? Like they don't know what to do. And nobody's coming in because of the COVID. So they may be just, I was going to say like embedded in amber. They may be closed for now, but there's a possibility that they may bloom again. So we have to go forward thinking this is temporary. Let's still support what we can. I mean, just think about it. How many people do we have here? I get like 16, 17 people. We all spend $10 at one place for, dinner, or $20. And there's a few $100s that is going directly into the pockets of people who are trying to desperately struggle to survive. So we have the power, says Patty Smith. Power. People have the power. Patty Smith says, I'm the warrior. I say both of them because I'm Maud Betty. So moving right along. Sorry for the impassioned, I'm on my Brillo box digression, but it's true. And may the road rise with you also, Jeff Cooper. That's as close to being Irish as I'll get. All right, so we still have, I'm going to pretend all these places are open, okay? The Heights Theater in Minneapolis, historic theater. They've got a theater organ. You know how I love those things. And they show classic movies. I hope they're open now safely, but if they're not, when you go there, if you live close by, support them, become a member, buy a gift certificate, buy something online. Maybe they got t-shirts or something. If it's the kind of thing you love, find a way to support it. The Riverview Theater looks cool too, because that is a classic old movie house. But what they actually did, it was born in 1948, and then they renovated it within the past decades. But what they did was they kept that kind of vintage charm in it. So they've got a spacious lobby with like comfy chairs, but it's an old school looking thing. So that's the Riverview in Minneapolis. Now, I don't know if Susan Nichols is on, and a number of other people mentioned to me about Maurice Steakhouse, okay? Maurice Steakhouse is in downtown Minneapolis. Absolutely fabulous facade. Hard to take a picture of unless you get into the middle of the road and have somebody watching you, but take a look on the Google and you'll see why you would want to take a picture of it. It is a kind of a high-end fancy place to go. So if that's your deal, you're all set. If it's not your deal, do what Maud Betty does. Go for lunch, right? You can still go in there, absorb the decor, and usually lunch is somewhat less expensive. Maurice Steakhouse is known for its silver butter knife. It's silver butter. I almost said steak knife. It's silver butter knife steak. I was thinking, yeah, silver butter knife, and I'm assuming it's because it's so tender, you could cut it with a silver butter knife. Or maybe it's made out of silver butter. I don't know. But Murray's is a downtown thing. And then what you also have to do, I should have brought a hat with me. Who can turn the world on with her smile? That would be my attempt at singing the Mary Tyler Moore theme, covered by Husker Du at one point. I love that song. But there is a statue of Mary Tyler Moore. Remember the show in the 70s? If you don't, Google it. Very goofy, wonderful, heartwarming show. I remember once I was at some sort of conference and somebody said, you remind me of Mary Tyler Moore. And I was just like, because I've got spunk. And I was like, Mr. what's his name, didn't like spunk. Anyhow, there is a place where you can go. There's a statue of her. She's gonna make it after all. And then she throws her hat up in the air, and then they freeze frame it. Well, you can go stand next to the Mary Tyler Moore statue in downtown Minneapolis, bring a hat. Somebody should be like selling hats or like renting them there. So you could go rent the hat, throw it up in the air, and then you don't have to wear it. But that's kind of one of those wonderful, iconic things to do when you're there. At least I think so. And we continue. We're making good time. This is great. The Bandbox Diner. Mr. Grant, yes, thank you. I was thinking Lou, because I was thinking of Lou Asner. Was that his name? Ed Asner? Lou Grant. That's what happens when you rely on this thing right here, and I can't do the Googles. The Bandbox Diner. It was built in 1939. It was the original location of the chain that had a bunch of them. It's the only one left. This is the only one left. It's a kind of like inspired by a White Castle, and it is Formica counter stool seating, adorable little tiny place. There's a little bit of an addition there, so it's not all, squidgy and tiny, but the Bandbox Diner in Minneapolis is someplace we highly recommend. Now, transitioning from like the old school really tiny diner into a slightly bigger diner is a place that we actually had a wicked good time at, the High-Low Diner. Now, the High-Low Diner is one of the rare New Jersey hauled out from its site and planted in one of these states. I mean, think about this. So this is the, I want to say it's a Federo diner, for those of you who keep track, from 1957. It wasn't moved here in 1957, though. It's been moved around a couple of different places, but think of it. We're over here in Minnesota, and this diner was built over here in New Jersey. So it was like chuck, all the way over here. The High-Low Diner. In 2016. So it was only there a couple of years when we went to visit it. Really cool, great interior, great exterior, good food. I think you can get drinks and beer there. I'm not sure, but I think you can. Double check. Don't be mad at me if I'm wrong. And here's the thing that I didn't know at the time until I researched it. So the High-Low Diner, high, H-I, low, L-O, was from the Hiawatha, Longfellow neighborhood in which it is located. Who knew? Even Maud Betty learns something new every day. So, Jeff, I love the Carlton Your Doorman thing. That is awesome. We may have to work that into our shtick here at the Hacienda. We've got a shtick going. We are pretty much like like hopefully nobody's recording this wacky TV show that we live in with the COVID lockdown. I think we're in week 21 or 22 of being home alone together. Naturally. But I digress, because we were talking about diners, old school diners, and here's where I'm going to hop over. So Minneapolis, here's the deal, you guys. Minneapolis has a whole bunch of really cool old-time movie theaters. It's got a whole bunch of really neat, like, vintage stores that you can buy stuff at. Had a really wonderful place. There's a place called Mid-Mod Men. In that neighborhood where they are, I got some great tips from some other places to go. So if you like vintage shopping, there are really a lot of cool things. Vintage clothes, home goods, all that type of stuff. So it is definitely a destination for retro road mappers. But here's the deal. In the short time that I am here, I am trying to cover the whole state of Minnesota. So we're going to have to regretfully say goodbye and move along to ensure that we give the rest of this whole half of the state, quarter of the state, some love. But before we get out of the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, we're going to stop in St. Paul for two reasons. One is for a diner. So Mickey's Dining Car. And actually, this is an interesting thing. So remember how I said that the High-Low Diner was a 57 Federo from New Jersey, but it just moved there in 2016. This is really cool. Mickey's Dining Car is actually a 1937 O'Mahony. A 1937 O'Mahony built diner. I want to say O'Mahony, I don't want to get it wrong, but it's built in New Jersey. I was thinking Patterson, but no, that's Silk City. I digress into my geeky dinerness. But actually, O'Mahony, what's the one down the street here from me? So funny. Fraser Diner. Fraser Diner is a Mahoney. I want to say it's a 58. So, excuse me, a 38. Or it's a 30s. So it was shipped out. So Mickey's Dining Car in St. Paul was actually made in the 30s and shipped out there in the 30s, and it's still here. Now, when we went and visited there a couple years, over a year ago, it was open 24/7. So always something going on there. We had a wonderful time, really good food. The waitress gave me some sass because I was so enamored. I was asking too many questions. Must have been like one of those little kids like, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. That's what Maud Betty does. I have to get the details so I can give them to you people. But anyhow, the interesting thing was, and I love this notion of taking the inopportune opportunity that COVID and social distancing has provided with us. It's given us this situation that we can decide what we want to do with it. And the neat thing is I discovered on Instagram, because I was following Mickey's, is because they had to close down temporarily because of what's going on, they were finally able to do all sorts of cleaning and repair things and getting all like the greasy, junky, gunky stuff off that they really couldn't do when they were open 24/7, because they always had people like sitting at the counter and stuff. So they really are doing a great job of getting the place nice and wicked clean, so when they do open up, it's going to be even better than before. And I just love that. Like, again, instead of them going, meh, we're closed, we can't do anything, it was like, I'm going to use this as an opportunity that I may never have again to do things. Kind of like Maud Betty doing these Retro Roadmap Facebook Lives from her garage. Who knows? Maybe when things open up again. Actually, when things open up again, I am hitting the road so hard. So I may not be able to do these from my garage, but since I'm stuck here at home, happily, making the best of it, that's what you do. So, the Lion's Tap, says Stuart Mason. Spectacular hamburgers there, too. Good to know. I don't know if I have a little hamburger-shaped pin for them on my map, but I'll be adding one, because I do. Just because I can't get to all of the comments right here, I will say that I do read them afterwards, and I thank everybody always for tuning in. But yeah, so Mickey's Dining Car in St. Paul, 1937, O'Mahony, closed temporarily. Will we open, and will be better than ever, says Babawawa. The other kind of like dorky PBS humor thing is that they are also up the street or down the street from the Fitzgerald Theater, which is, I believe, the old-timey theater in which they do Prairie Home Companion. So there's that. As I mentioned, as we move out of the city area of St. Paul, Minnesota, Chanhassen is where Paisley Park is. So if you want to go visit where Prince lived and recorded music, you can take tours there. Again, under the guise of when it's safe to do so, COVID, yada, yada. But here was a neat thing that I found out. Now, anybody remember the Jolly Green Giant? Ho, 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 Green Giant, ding. So I kind of didn't even realize that some of these kind of iconic, humongous brands that we have started fairly small. So the Jolly Green Giant started small, grew big. There are two places in Minnesota where you can get your picture taken next to a Jolly Green Giant statue. For those of you who are not from the U.S., the Jolly Green Giant is pretty much a symbol of like frozen vegetables, lovely vegetables. And in the 70s, he had a little sidekick called Sprout, the little green Sprout. I remember that. And now the funny thing is, this cracks me up. Oh, that's so cool that you saw him, Minnie Biggles, because the thing that slays me is I did not realize that one of the places that he is famous is Le Sueur, Minnesota. And immediately when I saw that name, I had a flashback to cans of vegetables on the top of my grandmother's kitchen in Dedham, Massachusetts. The fridge was in like a little cupboard, like a little, almost like a closet. And then she had cans of stuff in these little silver cans with a fancy label that said Le Sueur peas. And they are like canned peas. Now, as I said to Retro Road Husband, literally just today, I do not like peas. So that was kind of lost on me, but the branding stuck with me so much. So you can go to Le Sueur, Minnesota, find it. There's a sign there. I think that's the one that might be, you just see it from the highway. So you might not be able to stand next to it. But there's another one, a place called Blue Earth, Minnesota, that they actually have a Jolly Green Giant statue. So again, doesn't it seem, I find this interesting that like Minnesota is like the land of big things to pose next to and get your picture taken. So ho ho ho, Green Giant, ding. We talked about the Juicy Lucy. Ooh, now here's an interesting thing. So Charles, you're right, I'm from Mass. I wouldn't call myself a masshole, but I know plenty of them, all right? Here was an interesting thing. So when I put together my maps, this is what I do, is I research, I find things that interest me. I pop the pins on a Google map, and then it's almost a surprise sometimes to see when I kind of pull out, kind of like, whoop, to see if there's any clusters of things and like where there is like a hotbed of things that I'm interested in. Because when there's a cluster, it means that I'll probably be more likely to go when I know there's a bunch of things that I like, and there is more likely that I'll have things to share with you. And that very thing happened to me for this episode when I put a bunch of pins down here. I know you probably can't see it because my finger's over it, but in a place called Austin, Minnesota. So let me see where it all started with, frankly, another kind of mid-century modern thing that I mentioned. And if you're interested in some of this mid-mod map stuff, I do have a Facebook page that I do post some of these things. So just this week I posted about this one, in Austin, Minnesota. It's called the Elam House, E-L-A-M. It's in Austin, Minnesota, and it's a Frank Lloyd Wright house. Now, it's not just a house. You drive by and you snap your picture and you're like, okay, well, that's something. It is actually like an Airbnb, VRBO. Technically, they have it up there that you can stay in a Frank Lloyd Wright house. Now, I think that's pretty cool. So if you're interested in that, that's something you can Google. It's in Austin. But wait, there's more. Because there are other things you can do in Austin. And I'm going to save the best for last. But this is the second best. So they're meat related. So vegetarians, maybe you hang out and eat your Le Sueur peas. But there's two places I'm going to recommend in Austin, Minnesota. One is the Tender Maid Sandwich Shop. And the Tender Maid is a place where you can get like a loose meat sandwiches. Remember we were talking about that with like the Roseanne show, and in different states, was it Iowa? Loose meat sandwiches. It's a thing in that neck of the woods. And I say that neck of the woods because we're kind of around here, right? And so Tender Maid sandwiches, you can get loose meat. I think it's open from like 11 to 4. Tiny, tiny, tiny little place. Like, I'm not kidding you. I'm like, it looks like it's even smaller than our garage, because this garage is bigger than most of them. But in any case, so if you're interested in a loose meat sandwich and you're in Austin, let's say you get into Austin, go to your Frank Lloyd Wright house, you unpack your bags, you go scoping around, you say, I'm hungry, I want a loose meat sandwich, go there. But Jeff Cooper, I have a pen in my hand, so I'm pointing with it. If you are interested in learning about spam, there is a spam museum. A spam museum, people, in Austin, Minnesota. Now, all I wrote as far as like description is, hello. Like, if that isn't kitschy and fun and goofy, like, I'm gonna go to you see, this is the thing. I'm the kind of person, frankly, as you can see, we go from seeing Marcel Breuer, famous mid-century modern architecture at a university and an abbey, and then in the same trip, we're going to a museum of canned lunch meat. Those are the things that light up me. Your mileage may vary, but you got to do the things you love. And that's a thing that literally when I found out about it, I was like, spam museum? Like, that's so cool. Like, I wonder if they have. Like, I kind of almost didn't want to research it because I just want to be surprised when I get there. But anyhow, spam museum is in Austin, Minnesota. That is down here at the very bottom. And there are a number of other burger places and things, and a little drive-in movie theater here. A couple more drive-in movie theaters that there are only 6 of them in town, in the States. So if you want to go see those, they're easy to find. And here's the other deal. So literally, I do my best to do some of this, make sure my pins are up to date. And I thought they were, but as I was doing my last research, I printed out my map before I realized down here in the corner, I was so excited to tell you about this place. And who was it? Charles H. Fenton. Well, you're welcome. My shtick is me. If anybody, people, you'll testify. This is how I am. I put on my black glasses and I'm more boring, but I'm still kind of wacky. But yes, I do know diner expert Larry Cultrera from Mass. Larry and I have known each other for decades at this point, which is awesome because he is such a wealth of knowledge. And he is one of the people that I learned about, Gordon Tyndall, who is a diner restorationist, and he had a place called the Spud Boy Diner. And I was so excited to tell you about it. It was in Lanesboro, Minnesota, and it still may be there in physicality, but sadly it is closed. It had been a thing that he had revitalized and run with his wife, and it was there for a while, and it is not there anymore. So I don't want to leave on a sad note saying, wah, there was some place that closed. But yes, and actually, Jeff Cooper, I love this, because you said wonderful spam. I can't remember the first one that I mentioned, but there have been two, count them, 2 references to Monty Python in today's episode. So go figure that out. Oh, the lumberjack one, right. So Babe the Blue Ox and Spam. I wonder if anybody from Monty Python had actually been to Minnesota. Ooh, I don't know. Ooh, what do you think, eh? Edie McClure? I remember hearing Edie McClure on the TV. So here's a fun thing. This is the upending I will leave you with. I'm going to upend you because next week, a couple of things. So next week, North Dakota. So we're going kind of adjacent. So we're going from here, and then we're going to go up here. I have never been to these Dakotas. I don't even know what kind of map, what kind of pins I have existing, but I'm interested to find out. So, you'll learn along with me as I discover some of these states that I have yet to go on. So next Thursday from 3 to 4. But wait, there is more, because I want to tell you something. And I'm going to be telling you this. Well, one is, if you like what I've done and you like what I'm doing, buymeacoffee.com/MaudBetty. You can buy me a coffee, buy me a cup of tea. Just say thank you if you choose to do so. No pressure. But I just wanted to put it out there because a number of people had asked if there's a way they could support what I do. And you know what? I should be gracious that people want to support me. So yes, there is a way you can do that. But I'm telling you this, that tomorrow's my birthday. Now, I'm not saying that like, oh, give me a present, whatever. That's not why I'm telling you this. But I thought about this, okay? So tomorrow, I'm giving myself the day off. I cleared it with my HR department. I got my request into me. I said I could get my work done as long as I had tomorrow off. And so I'm taking the day off, and we are hitting the road. We're doing some local road trips, and this is the neat thing. It was kind of like having that notion of it being my birthday gave me that kind of excuse to be like, you know what? We're just going to do it. We're going to drive a couple of hours to go to that place. And then we're going to go from there, and it may be 45 minutes to the next one, but it's places that I really want to go to. So I leave you with this. We shouldn't be waiting until our birthdays or, New Year's Eve or some time, like as an excuse to do what we want. Life is short. As we are all finding out right now, we literally don't know what is going to happen from day to day. So I say this to you. So pretend. Tomorrow, let's pretend it's everybody's birthday, okay? If tomorrow was your birthday, or maybe Saturday because you may have the day off, think of those things you're like, well, if it was my birthday and I could do anything I wanted, what would it be? And then go do it. Like, you don't have to wait for it to be your birthday to live the life you want to live. Now, I say this as a thing like I should know it. Like, I'm doing the same thing. Like, I waited to kind of be like, well, it's my birthday. It's kind of a good excuse to go to that store down there and that place over there, and then we're going to get burgers here, and then we're going to drive past this place. Like, I did it myself. But, like, if there's any way that you can figure out the things you like to do, the places you like to go, and go to them, you know, sooner rather than later, that means that you can have a happier life sooner rather than later. So, yes, and let's pretend that it's midnight. As anybody knows, that is a classic Maud Betty line. Now it's in a famous song by Cliff Hillis and Rhett Miller. You'll be hearing it on all the radios soon, I hope. Wouldn't that be cool? But in any case, thank you very much for the good wishes, everybody. I really appreciate it. I apologize for the technical difficulties and that I couldn't figure out where to see the comments, but Retro Road Husband was gracious enough to help me find that out, so I love it. Because here's the funny thing. This isn't just about me talking and not hearing. I personally love the connection. It's all about, I do this to connect with you so that I can share with you the things I'm excited about. Now you know about them. You share things that you're excited about. And it's a little bit of, you know, kind of like, won't you be my neighbor? All right? And neighbor, on that note, I'm going to sign off. I will have an excellent day tomorrow. I'll probably be posting some pictures from the road or maybe on Saturday. But thank you so much. Charles, thank you for, yes, Kimball Farms in Westford. Yes, I haven't been there in decades, but I am a Mass gal, so I do remember that. But yeah, please, you know, pretend tomorrow is your birthday and go drive your life, all right? I will see you next week, if not before.